Hello guys, this is Technoli again. And today we've got the little Lenovo m93p, but we're doing OPENCORE on it. This video has had over 45,000 views, and a lot of you guys are experimenting with it and having a few problems with Clover. So I decided I would go ahead and do an OPENCORE on this so you guys could have a little better success. So we're going to get into this little thing, and I'm going to show you every step of this video so you don't get lost. And this will also work on the HP G1 800, the same complete build, showing you the all the steps and everything. And if you haven't seen the other video with this, this is the inside of this little guy. And I'm telling you, this thing is little. So there is the hard drive. I don't have the bracket because they sold it to me without the hard drive bracket, so I just have that laying in there. But there it is. Really easy to stick a SSD in there. And the memory is right under the hard drive, right there. So, really simple one. Let's get into this video and get it done. Okay, everybody. Now today I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you the long version of making the HASWELL chipset work on any computer really that you have that has a HASWELL chipset. This should work fine. And I'm doing this on the little tiny Lenovo that has been such a popular video lately. So anyone that's having problems with the Clover version, this will take care of your issues so you can get your little M93P up and running. So let's get started real quick. Let's install Python. Make sure we click Add Python 3.8 to Path. Click Customize Install. Make sure everything is checked here. Click Next. And go ahead and check Install for all users and click Install. Now, if you are having issues with any part of this, I am also going to have on my website in the download section my EFI folder. So if you do this whole process, the long version, you do it yourself. You build your config.plist, you copy the text files and the drivers over to your USB, and it's not working on the exact same equipment that I have here, the same graphics card, then just try using my EFI folder. So what you would do is just build the USB and then try with my EFI folder and see if you can get it installed. Because if you just miss one little step, it could cause it not to work. Okay. Okay, guys. So what we're going to do now, you're going to have, of course, all of these files downloaded, and they're going to be on your desktop. You want to go over here to the GIB macOS folder, double click on this, and then we're going to right click on GIB macOS.bat. If you don't see the .bat, just go up here to View and put a check mark, File Name Extensions, and you'll see it then. Okay, just right click and Run as Administrator. Okay, so it's going to come up and it's going to show you available products. But we want to go a little step further here. I want you to press the letter R and hit Enter. And it's going to rescan the database. And you want to look for where it says Full Install. See here where it says Full Install? You want to choose, if you're going to use Catalina, we're going to choose number 5 on this one because this is the newest version, 10.15.3. So we're going to go down here and press number 5 and hit Enter. And it's going to say, it looks like you've already downloaded this. Well, yours is going to say, are you ready to download? And you would click Yes. I'm not going to bother downloading it again because I already have it. So when that is complete, you want to go back here
And you're going to notice that it creates this macOS downloads folder, okay? And inside of there is where the file is that you just downloaded. So now we're going to right-click on Make Install.bat. Just right-click on it and run as administrator and click Yes. Now here is where it comes up and it'll ask you which drive you want to use to install or to make your USB bootloader. So here I choose number 2, and then we want to choose a letter here. See where it says COIEUGD. I'm going to choose O for OPENCORE, and that's not 0, it's O. And I'll hit enter. And then here it's going to warn you that all the data will be erased, and it will erase your thumb drive. Make sure it is your thumb drive up here and not some other drive that you may have connected. You'll click yes to continue, hit enter, and it's going to start preparing your drive. Now what you want to do is just close out these boxes. And now it's going to ask you, please paste the recovery update package path to extract. So what it is saying is, where is the file that you just downloaded? So we want to go under here where it says macOS downloads, double click, and then here's my Catalina, double click on that, and there's my package. So I just want to highlight it, click home, and click copy path, and right click it into this box and hit enter. Now here it's going to start building your USB stick, and this will take about 20 minutes, 15-20 minutes, sometimes less if your computer's fast. And of course we're doing this on Windows, so as soon as this is done we'll come back. Okay guys, so now that box will go away when it's finished, and if you go down here you'll see it created a drive called boot with an EFI folder in it. Okay, but this EFI folder has some old files in it that we need to exchange for our new, right here, OPENCORE 0.5.6. So we want to make sure we have the proper files over here. So what we want to do is go ahead and double click on boot, and right here you see this says 9 kilobytes. Go over to your OPENCORE folder that you downloaded and go under EFI and under boot, and you'll notice that this boot x64.efi is 33 kilobytes. So this is the newer version. So we want to just copy this one and paste it in here and replace the file so we have the newest version. Okay, so let's go back up and let's go to the OC folder, and in here we've got this OPENCORE.efi, and we want to go in here, and you'll notice it's 514 kilobytes and the old one is 333. So let's do the same process. Let's copy it, paste it, and replace file. Okay, now in the drivers folder there are also 5 files. I just want you to delete these. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to be copying from my drivers folder that you downloaded. We're going to be copying these 3 files into the OC drivers folder. These are the newest versions of what we need to run. So let's copy into here. Okay, now we're also going to need some text files. So right here, there's nothing in our new boot folder, our boot drive. There's no text at all. So for the tiny little Lenovo, we need these text files. We need the Apple ALC and the Intel Mousy Ethernet controller. Of course, we need Lilu, Virtual SMC, and whatever green. But we need these particular files for this little computer. Now, if you have a Realtek Ethernet controller, then you'll need a different Ethernet. If you're having problems with the audio, then you may need to use a different kex for audio. But we're going to grab these and we're going to copy them and put them in our kex folder on our flash drive. Okay, let's make sure they're there. Yep, there they are. All right, now still we need a config.plist. So we want to go back over to the OPENCORE 0.5.6 and go to Docs and double click, and right under here is a sample plist. Just copy it over into your OC folder on your flash drive and rename this to config.plist. Config.plist. Okay. One more thing on your flash drive under the OC, you want to go under Tools and just delete these files. Okay, so we're completely modified. We're good to go. We've got our drivers, we've got our kex, we've got our new config.plist. So let's close this out, but we still need to build our config.plist because right now it is just a plain config and it won't work the way it is. So let's go ahead and go over to the OPENCORE website and we'll go to OPENCORE Vanilla Guide. Now this is a HASWELL chipset, so I want to go over here under these different chipsets. And I get so many questions from you guys. Will this work on this? Will this work on that? If you have a different CPU, just search on the internet what chipset it is for. You might have a Skylake CPU. Then you could use this guide right here to build your config.plist. The drivers and kex are pretty much always the same, but your config.plist and your SSDTs are the things that change. But right now we have a HASWELL, so we're going to use this web page, HASWELL web page, to start building our config.plist. Now, under ACPI, which is the first part of the guide, we need to get these SSDTs. So we're going to compile them. And this is very easy to do. A lot of people get frustrated with this, but it's not so hard to do. So go ahead and open up Notepad. Okay? And we'll just put it over here. And what I want you to do is now click on SSDT-plug, and we're going to copy some of this system language. So go down here at the bottom and go right up until you see definition block. We don't want any of this */ stuff. And just copy and then paste it into Notepad. Then we want to file, save as, and we're going to make sure that we save it into our this PC, desktop, and our IASL-win folder, because that's where we're going to compile these. And then just name it SSDT-plug and hit enter. Okay, we're done with that one. Control A to get rid of all that, and let's get on to the next SSDT right here. So we'll click on here, we'll go down to the bottom, we'll highlight and go up. And again, we don't want any of this stuff up here, so we're going to stop right there. It's also definition block. Copy, paste it into here, and then we'll do file, save as, and SSDT-EC, and hit enter. It's going to save it as a text file. Okay, Control A, get rid of that. We'll go down here to the last one, and this little guy right here, up to definition block, copy, and paste. And this one we'll call the same, SSDT-EHC X _ OFF, and hit enter. Okay, so let's minimize this for now. We're done with that for now. Okay, now let's go over here. We can close this out to our IASL-win folder, and we're going to see those 3 text files that we just made. All right, so what we're going to do is go over here and type in command, and we need a command prompt. Okay, just make that a little smaller. All right, so just right here you'll see iasl.exe. Just grab it and put it in here. Hit the space bar, and then ssdt-ec. Just grab that and put it in here and hit enter. And it just created or compiled our first SSDT. So let's do it again for the next one. Space bar, and then we need this one. Hit enter. Okay, there's that one. One more. IASL spacebar, and let's see, I need this plug one. Let me scooch this down so you can see what's going on and hit enter. Okay, so I have all my .ami files, and what we're going to do, guys, is just copy those over to our boot drive, EFI, OC folder, ACPI, and we're going to drag over just the .aml files. So just grab those, put them in here like that. Okay, we're done compiling. Now we get to the more fun part. We can close that out, go back to our web page, and we're going to go on to the next step. But we're going to need to open up ProperTree to do this. So again, you've got these files that you downloaded. You're going to have a folder called ProperTree. Just double click on that, double click on ProperTree Master, and then right click on ProperTree.bat and open with admin. Okay. Now all we need to do is, let me just make this smaller and put it over here. All we need to do is go to File, Open, and then we want to go to our boot, EFI folder, OC, config.plist, and click Open. All right, now we can just get rid of these lines. So we just remove all these warning lines. We can just remove them. All right. Okay, so if you remember, we had ACPI, ACPI. So we'll go down here until we see the word quirk on this side. Right there. We want to make sure all of these are no. In our config.plist, no equals false. So these are all correct. No equals false. Okay, booter, which is right here, booter, we'll go down here, and we're going to go to the quirks also and make sure that all of these items are correct. So true, and then no, 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 enable safe mode slide, true, the next one's true. I think these are all okay by default. No, 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 provide custom slide, true, the next one true, no, and no. So we're good. Device properties. Now, this particular motherboard does use onboard Intel HD 4600 graphics. So we're going to make a change to our config.plist to support the onboard graphics. And this would be the same if you have a 4600 chip on your unit. For example, the HP G1 800 we did, it's the same config.plist. So what we want to do here is we want to go to where it says right here. We're going to use this number is used when the iGPU is used to drive a display. And we are driving our display with a display port using an adapter. And when it's hexed, hex swapped means this is the number we're going to use in our config.plist. So we copy it, go over here to where it says AAPL, comma, IG platform ID. Double click and put that number in there. So just Control V. All right, now what we have to do is, because we don't have the next line, we need to create another child, which is called a child, underneath this platform ID. So just right click and new sibling, and that's where we need to type in right here, device-ID. Okay, so Control V into there. Then double click here and change this to data. And then over here, we need right here, this ID, device ID fake, is set up like so. So this number swapped out to the hex for the 4600 is this number. I know it makes no real sense unless you're a programmer, which I am not a programmer, guys, but it does make quite a bit of sense. Control V and hit enter. We're done with this section. So now our graphics are going to work. So now we can go ahead and move on down to kernels. Right here says kernel. Let's go down here. All of this stuff is going to be fine once we do an OC snapshot. So we'll get to that in a minute. So let's go down here to where it says quirks. So it's going to be quite a ways down on yours. So I just want you to keep going down until you see the word quirks. There it is. So the first two are yes. So we double click and just true, true. All right, so it's no, 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 no. And then disable low mapper should be yes or true. And then no, 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 no. Panic no text dump is true. And then power timeout is also true. No to the third-party drivers and yes to the port limit. Okay, now we're in the miscellaneous section. So let's go on down here. All of this stuff is fine by default. So we can go all the way down till we see where it says disable watchdog. All right, so you're going to be looking for it right here. Disable watchdog. That needs to be true. Then we need to change a couple of more things right here. Display level, right here. We need this number. Let's copy it and paste it into here. And then target needs to be 67. Okay, let's go on down here to security. Right here, security. Allow NVRAM reset needs to be true. Allow default, set default needs to be true. No, no, 6. Very important. Vault needs to be optional. Okay? And then scan policy needs to be 0. Okay, NVRAM. Okay, let's go down here. All of this stuff is fine right here. We need to get to where it says boot args. All right, right here, boot args. So we have -V, which is our verbose mode. It enables verbose, which is the text that you see when you're booting up the computer. So we need to leave that on in case you run into an area where your computer's stuck on a line of text. That's why to a lot of you guys I say send me or email me a picture of where you are stuck with the text on your screen so I can try to help you. And this tells me where you are in the boot process. So what we want to do is go over here and double click, put a space bar between these, and we need to add debug right here. And Control V into there, and we need to copy this ALCID and put it into here. Control V and hit enter. That's all we need. Okay, everything else is fine until we get down to right here where it says right here NVDA_DRV. you have to delete this line or your computer will get stuck on boot. So just right click and remove. Now, preferred language right here. If you want English, because that is Russian, if you want English, you got to copy this line right here. Just simply copy, double click, Control V that in there, hit enter. All right. Now, what we want to do is go down to where it says block, right there, block, and legacy override and schema is all fine, but we want to go down here to where it says write flash, and we want to change this to true. Platform, important part. Well, they're all important, but this is where we get to change something. In the default, it has Mac Pro 5.5. Since we're doing a Haswell with onboard graphics, we're going to go ahead and use iMac 14.1 right there. So just double click that and type in iMac 14.1 and hit enter. Now this right here, this MLB number, the serial number right here, system serial number, and UUID. When you're done with your computer, you need to come back and change these numbers using Gen SM BIOS program that you also downloaded. It will generate new numbers for you, okay? Or your iMessage and all the other wonderful things that you want to use with Apple will not function, will not work, and you'll get an error every time you try to log in. Okay, let's go on down here. So all of this stuff, automatic is true, spoof vendor true. Okay, all of this stuff is fine by default. Let's go to UEFI and we'll go down here. The section audio is fine, input is fine, output is fine. Go down here to protocols right here, and I'm just going to verify, yep. And then quirks, 0, and we need to change ignore invalid flex ratio to true. Release USB ownership, no. Request boot var fallback needs to be true. And the next one is true, which it is by default. Okay, one last thing. Go to File, click on OC Snapshot, then click on OC, and then click on Select Folder. Now that just made a bunch of changes and paths to enable the config.plist to know where all of your drivers are. But one thing, if you'll notice, if we go clear back up to the top, the ACPI, we need to change these SSDTs that we put in. We need to change this enable to true to turn them on. So just double click and change them to true. And that's it, guys. We are done with the hard part. All you do now is go File, Save, and we're done. So, next thing we do is we go into the BIOS on this one, and most BIOS settings, guys, on all computers are going to have about the same setup that you have to do in order for it to boot with a Hackintosh. All right, let's get into that. Okay, guys, to get into the BIOS on these little Lenovos, you press the F1 key. Just keep tapping it. All right, there we go. Now, in this first screen, you don't need to touch anything. We'll go over here to Devices. Serial port must be disabled. USB support can be just as you see it here. Pretty much everything is enabled except USB debug. We don't need to have that on. ATA drive setup. We want to make sure that these are enabled, and AHCI is selected. Video setup. We're using the integrated graphics, and let's go ahead and set this to 64. And audio setup, everything's enabled. Network setup, just enabled. Advanced setup, CPU. We just have everything here except VTD is disabled. All right, let's go over here to these two. We don't need to worry about none of these. Power saver, you can just leave everything enabled. Security, in here we don't have anything we need to mess with except down here where it says secure boot, disable. And startup, we can select this to CSM. We want that enabled on this one, but boot mode is UEFI only. Quick boot enabled. Everything else just like you see it here. And then exit and save changes and exit. Okay, now we'll have our USB stick in there and we'll start the boot process. And I'm going to press the F12 key to make sure I'm booting from my SanDisk, which is my USB. Hit enter. We're going to go through a lot of text until we get to the boot menu. Okay, we're going to come up here to the boot, and we're going to select what to boot from. And I want to select macOS base system external. That is my USB. And hit enter. We'll go through a lot of text again. This will take a little bit of time, not too long. And we'll come up to where we start formatting the hard drive.
Okay guys, I had to switch over to the camera because my capture card would not capture when it went into this mode. So here we go. We'll go ahead and finish up. So we want to go over here to show all devices. This is my hard drive. So I'm going to erase it. You can call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it my tiny M93. And then we want to select here APFS and GUID partition map. Click erase. And yeah, we're done. All right, we'll go out of here. Make sure you have your Ethernet cable connected for this and click reinstall macOS and continue. And then click agree, and select the hard drive and install. And this will take, it says 23 minutes, 17 minutes. No, it's about 20 minutes. When this is done, we'll come back. It's going to automatically reboot like you've seen in my other videos at about right here. And we want to leave our USB stick in there on the reboot. And then we're going to boot from the actual hard drive. So as soon as this is done and rebooting, we'll come back. Okay guys, we're getting closer. 6 minutes remaining. So we'll hang in there and see what happens. Okay, there it goes. Finally got through that pass. Now we're going to leave the USB stick in there. We're going to come back up and boot from the hard drive. Okay guys, so when it comes back up here, you're going to notice that it doesn't have the name of the hard drive that we named it, but it has this macOS installer, and that's what we want to click enter on, because that is our hard drive. You'll notice it'll go a lot faster this time. All right, so we get up here to where it has the Apple logo and that line. And this is another process. It's still installing the software. And this will take a little bit of time. Let's see what happens. About 12 minutes remaining. I like how fast it's going now. Okay, coming down to about 3 minutes remaining. And it looks like it's going to go all the way across this time. There it goes. Okay, let's leave our stick in there. Leave that USB drive in there. We're going to come back and boot up again. And we'll have to select the hard drive. We'll make sure it's on the hard drive so we can finish up this install. Okay guys, now here we're going to see our tiny M93 hard drive. We'll just hit enter on that. Okay, here it comes. Get up to this next screen. All right, now we can pick our country. And we can just click continue and continue. We have our Ethernet cable plugged in, and we're just going to skip this going into Apple ID. Agree and agree, and just put a name on it and a password. And click continue. You can change that little guy if you want. All right. Customize, enable location services. I'll turn off analytics. Set up later. Yeah, we'll have Siri connected. We'll choose dark mode. Okay. Now we're coming up to it. It's going to ask us to identify our keyboard, so we'll do that. Okay, we're done. Notice down here, this bar is translucent. And if we go over here to About This Mac, we can see that we've got 8 gigabytes of RAM. We've got our 2.9 i5. And we've got Intel HD Graphics 4600. Okay, fantastic. Now, the only thing we have left to do, guys, is we need to get Clover, and I've got it on another USB stick here. We're just going to grab Clover configurator, put it on the desktop. The only reason I need this is I want to be able to see the hidden EFI partition on the hard drive so we can copy the EFI folder from our boot, USB boot stick. We can copy it to the hard drive. So let's go ahead and double click on Clover configurator. Now if you notice, the first time you open it, you have to right click and open, and then click open. Okay, then we're going to go over here to mount EFI, and then this is our tiny M93, that's our hard drive. Mount partition, put in our password, enter, and open partition. See, there's no EFI folder here to boot from, so we will just drag it from here into here, and now we can boot without the USB stick. Now guys, I'm going to come out with another video this week that shows you how to change all your serial numbers, because a lot of you guys are having problems with that, getting into iMessage and all that to work. So here we go. HASWELL Chipset motherboards. This should work fine with OPENCORE. Guys, I really appreciate you watching my videos. It means the world to me. You have blown up my channel. I'm forever thankful. And if you do like these videos, please subscribe and like, and we'll see you on the next one.